Hi, this is Angela McFarlane and you're stamping with aMac. Today I'm going to make a simple card with you featuring the Sale-A-Bration set by the Bay. This is a gorgeous card that you can make really simple cards with, or you can have fun colouring in. Now, I'm not a fantastic colourer, so I'll show you a really easy way to add a splash of colour. And we're going to be making this card, and it simply uses a little bit of cardstock, a bit of watercolour paper, some tranquil texture sprinkles, and the seagull stamp. Now, I did use watercolour paper there. I'll show you the difference between plain cardstock and watercolour paper. You can see that it just gives a much nicer effect with the watercolouring. It just adds almost a bit more texture as well, because there is texture in this. Now, for the card base, I've just used crumb cake. I folded that in half, and I thought for the second card that I'd add just a little bit of extra texture, and to speed things up I ran that through the Big Shot. But I lined it up like this and ran it through just to get a little bit of extra texture using the Subtles folder. And you probably can't see the texture there, but it is really subtle and it does add a nice touch to it. Then before I get going, I will stamp my image using either StazOn or archival ink. You want to use one of those because we're watercolouring with it. And just apply firm pressure low on my circle. The circle I've cut out using stitched framelit circle dies. So I'll just pop that aside and let it dry properly before I start colouring on it. To save a bit of time, I've just run my strip of Night of Navy through the Simple Stripes embossing folder just to add a little bit more texture. I've also added a bit of double-sided tape on the back. Whenever you're using embossing folders, you always want to use double-sided tape to stick them down. Now I'm just lining up my Night of Navy strip here using the grid paper. So yeah, this strip was about 5 centimeters, and then the full length of the card, which was 14.8. Okay, I can pop that aside. Actually, while this is, no, I'll pop that aside for the minute, and I'll start watercolouring here. Now I've just gone two simple colours, Balmy Blue and So Saffron, because I just wanted a soft look. What I'm going to do is just squeeze the ink pad gently in the middle, get a little bit of colour into the lid, and use my aqua painter. You don't want to put your aqua painter into the ink pad because you'll just introduce too much water into your ink pad. And then I'll just pick up a bit more colour and swoosh it around. And don't forget, this will dry lighter as well. So once you've put on as much colour as you want to, you can stop there, and I'll just clean the brush on a scrap bit of paper. Then I'll go in with the So Saffron, and I'll do the same thing with this one. This is still the old style ink pad. Just squish that down, pick up a little bit of colour and just blend it around. So I won't add any more to this one. I'm happy with that. And once you finish, clean your brush out. And you can get the heat embossing tool to speed things up, to dry this off a little bit. I'll just pop it to the side for a second while I attach the Tranquil texture sprinkles. These are really nice sort of beachy colours, And I've just picked out a few that I wanted to use, and I've popped them on the side. The easiest way to attach these is I'll just pop a little bit of my Tombow liquid glue. I'll just position this roughly where I want it to go, and then I'll be able to see exactly where I want to go with my glue. If you try to put these into the glue and then stick them on, you'll get glue everywhere. So I've just used my take your pick tool. I've pushed out a tiny little bit of putty. I'm picking them up. I'll just get my fingernail down to get them off. You've got various sizes of sprinkles in this assortment as well, so I just wanted a few different colors and a few different textures in there. I think some of them are actual little stones as well as beads. They're really pretty. They're great in shaker cards, but I thought they'd make a nice feature on this card. Okay, then just to add a splash more color, I've just grabbed a Stampin' Write marker, just in Daffodil Delight. I'm going with the fine part of the pen. I'm just going to give these seagulls a little bit of extra colour just by colouring their feet and their beaks in. You probably won't even really be able to tell. I think it just adds a splash of colour. And you've got the most control with the fine tip of the marker because you've got your two ends on the markers. And that one's perfect for little fiddly things like that. Rightio. Then I'll just pop a few dimensionals onto the back of my circle. Peel those off. And attach them to the front of my card. So there you have quite a simple card. You don't even have to run it through embossing folders if you don't want to. You can keep it super simple, and you could even just punch out a circle out of your watercolor paper if you don't have the Big Shot or your framelits. So there's my simple card featuring By the Bay. Hope you've enjoyed that, and happy stamping. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.